Hi traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to today's market update for the 8th of October. So it's really just a continuation from yesterday. We're seeing further buying from the risk majors to the USD and to the yen. And we have seen at this stage, stronger moves on stock indices as well. So looking at the Aussie, we're just seeing a follow-up day of buying after yesterday's higher close, and we're still below that resistance level here. We'll see if the momentum will continue tonight, and we are seeing the euro closing in on this resistance point at 1780, so it'll be interesting to see if we do see further buying and a test of that level. And the pound as well is a bit like the Aussie, it's lagging a bit behind after that very strong session lower. Support so far remains at that 28.68, and resistance, if reached, is up at that 29.72. So it's not only to the US dollar, we've seen some strong gains against the yen. We're seeing the Aussie getting very close to that 75.84 resistance point. The euro had a fantastic session to the JPY yesterday. We're seeing a further push higher. We'll see if we can get a test of yesterday's high in today's session if buying momentum does continue. And over to the pound, we are slowly edging towards that sort of resistance high here, seen at 137.15, and this is all just really setting up ideas of just possible continuations as safe havens really do take a breather. Now we're going to do a bit of a breakdown on the dollar CAD, and we are looking at that because not only is USD lower, but oil has started to find some momentum now. Another hurricane is approaching the Gulf of Mexico, and that has supported oil prices, and that's generally due to production shutdown. So we are going to keep a look at that. That may only be a short-term influence depending on how the storm develops and tracks, and how much of an impact it has. So those things are unknowns, but we will take a quick look in a moment. So we're just going to touch on stocks quickly. We're seeing a little bit of buying and a break above the weekly high in today's session from the German 30. We will see we're still about 20 minutes away from the European session start, and an hour and 20 minutes away from the London session open. So we'll see if that momentum that we're seeing at the moment can carry forward. And the US 30 is currently just edged above that 28,370 point, and that's a good win for the US 30, so we were wanting to see how price reacts at this level. So we'll see tonight if it can be closed above, and that is a decent signal for buyers, showing that momentum's going forward and beating that the point, which is really resistance, which has been running back to the 4th of September. So, and just finally on the ASX 200, we did see a test in today's session of 61.25, and it's quite amazing because 2 days ago it looked pretty directionless on the ASX. We did have this little trend break and a support hold here. We did have a push higher, but then it was a bit of indecision a couple of days ago on this bar, but then we just saw that real strong fight back rally, which was a real surprise yesterday, to be honest. And we saw like over 2% added, and today we've seen a follow-up with a test of these highs here. So a break of this level would be something that we'd like to see from buyers to show a continuation, but for now it is extended, and if we did see a pullback, we'd like to see this area around just around here come in as probably potential support, show fresh demand. So we'll see if we do get a pullback and if that does eventuate. Now the second debate was on today between the vice president and vice presidential hopeful. Some are putting it in the corner of Pence as the winner, but depending on the side you're on, that would be a bit of a factor on who you thought had the better answers and who did a better job. So there is a bit of a question going on around the Democrats that if they do get in, what will happen with the yen. There are a few forecasts saying that it could go higher due to instability and a bit of uncertainty creeping in, but we will have to wait and see after the election. It will be interesting if the Democrats, led by Joe Biden, do get in, and what ramifications that may have on the stock market confidence as well. So interesting times to come. And now let's just we'll just touch on oil and then we'll just finish on the USDCAD. So you can see oil's been pretty flat today, but we have seen this week's been a lot better week so far for oil. And let's have a look at the weekly. We've seen a really strong fight back after last week's move lower on basically supply and future demand worries. And so far this week we have seen a gain of 7.39%, and we can see here on the daily that there is plenty of resistance up here, so that will be the next test for buyers really to see if they can not only get into area but beat it. So really anywhere from 40-60 at the moment is showing some pretty decent resistance, and then we have another level just above at that 41.21 to 41.30 area, and that will be a couple areas that we would like to see taken out by buyers. This to show that momentum does remain, on their side, because we can see that there's plenty of supply all the way up to this level at that area here. So finally now on the dollar CAD, and we are looking at we did see price stall and fail again at 34.23, and that's previous resistance. We saw a nice flat top there. We saw a decline lower. We've seen a new lower high now after yesterday's move lower. And now what we're looking to see is if we have a confirmed trend break, and if that signifies a new test lower, and possibility if we do get a new test lower, could we see a move lower to test that, those high 31 areas around 31.89, 31.95. So that's roughly, if we do see this failed rally turn into something more, we're talking about roughly a move around possibly around that 60 pip point lower. And the first step that sellers would need to get a bit more command and momentum on their side, and then break this point here at 32.42. So that really is an interesting area because it's a previous resistance that's become support, and if sellers are unable to get a move to close and break through that level, then you'd have to look at this level as continuing to show demand, and that could hold up price and keep, a range or possibly a new move from buyers could develop from there. So that's the key for me. Well, the key I'm watching to see is if we can get a breakthrough that low and then a move back into this area. So that's today's report so far. This evening, later into the European and early New York session, we do have the Governor of the Bank of England speaking, and we do have comments coming out of the Bank of Canada as well. So we thank you very much for listening and watching our market update today. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day or evening, and good trading. And until tomorrow, bye for now, and thanks.